Hi, I'm James from Chaosium. When I sat down with Bridget, she told an amazing story about how she first got her start as a TTRPG gamer. I'm going to jump across to that chat in just a moment, but first, remember to subscribe to the Chaosium YouTube channel. Helps us out and it lets us make more content like this. Thanks.
So I will make this as succinct as possible because it's actually a cute story. I talk a lot. Big surprise. And I talked a lot in high school in class while instructors were teaching. So my AP calculus teacher put me in detention in high school. Now, I just want to do a hard pause. I was like the star girl. I was on the basketball team. I was in the drama club. My dad was a referee. My brother was the athletic director. Like everyone knew who I was. I was the special kid. And my AP calculus teacher's like, I don't care. You can go to detention. I told you to shut up 10 minutes ago. So me recently humbled am sitting in his AP calculus class, and this dude is like drawing a full map on his whiteboard that's clearly not calculus. Clearly. And I'm looking at it, I was like, all right, so what are you doing? He's like, oh, it's for a game I'm running. I don't know what that means. So what are you doing? Oh, okay, well. And then he started explaining they were playing. He's a purist. And even to this day, they're still playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Really? Oh my god.
To this day, they will not advance past Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So he started telling me about these characters, this swashbuckler and this rogue and this cleric, and what those classes mean and what was going on. And I was just like, this is actually pretty interesting. So I didn't get put into detention the next week, but that following Friday, I came to his class voluntarily. I was like, so what happened last week with the swashbuckler? Did he actually save the girl? Oh, no, she died? Oh, then what happened? And I started doing that week after week. And eventually he was like, do you want to come to my house and play Dungeons and Dragons with me and my friends? Now, Jamie, let's do a hard pause real fast on this one. This is a white male instructor. I am an African-American female student. And he wants me at his house with his other 4 or 5 40-year-old white buddies in a basement at like midnight on a Friday night. A lot of issues there. A lot of issues there. So he and my parents had a full conversation. It's like, all right, she's coming to my basement. She's going to be safe. These are the safety things we're putting into place, like calling or texting, when I arrive, things of that nature. My family isn't going to say anything. Your family can't say anything, and the school can never know. And that's how I got into playing role-playing games. My AP calculus teacher from sitting in detention.
There you go. That is a fantastic story, and I'm glad that your family and your teacher could work it out and it happened because it seems like it spawned an entire career for you. So it's
Right. And it's actually a blessing because so many things could have gone wrong between the point that I put into detention and that offer, and even afterwards, that could have taken this hobby away from me or any other Black kids in Akron's playing in Dungeons and Dragons. I may not have ever gotten an exposure to a TTRPG. So I'm eternally grateful to Mr. Fox for getting me into what's literally my second favorite hobby next to sleeping.
and that would have been a couple of years ago. Have you seen the landscape for gaming change in regards to inclusivity?
Oh my goodness, yeah. So you said a couple of years ago, I love you so much, babe. That was like 15 years ago. I love you so much. I'm gonna take that youth compliment and run.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember being in college when, Lord, what was it? Either fourth edition or one of the Pathfinder supplements came out, and there was a Black iconic character on the cover. And I remember doing a double take, like, they have a person of color on the cover. I have not seen that before. So when it comes to inclusivity in gaming, there are very small things that you can do to promote a more inclusive environment. You don't have to go out and change the world's perspective on anything because you're not going to be able to. That's not reasonable. But there are small things that you can do if consistent will promote inclusivity because there was a Black person. It was a cleric. It was the cleric. It was the iconic cleric from Pathfinder.
I think I know the
Paladin.
one you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the paladin because I remember something about her backstory with the helmet and a kid and whatever is cute. But I know how that made me feel just being represented on the cover of a major book. So maybe you're not putting out covers to books, so you don't have control over that. But you know what you can do? You can add diverse PCs to your table. That matters. Seeing people of color, the LGBTQ plus community in your game, it's showing the people at the table. It's like, hey, these people exist and they matter and they make great stories too, and they're here. Bow is a small thing that you can do. And then also being intentional about opening up space for marginalized people is a really big thing. I cannot tell you the change that I've seen probably in the last 5 years or so, where I'm seeing outcalls for like, hey, we're specifically looking for minority writers to do this. The reason I'm published right now is because the Call of Cthulhu's Mythos role playing game Bayat al Azif by Jared Smith. Are you familiar with that magazine?
I believe so. Yes, yes.
It's a great magazine, and Jared is a phenomenal person. He was looking for minority writers. I never published anything before. I had never considered publishing anything before. I didn't even know where to start. And somebody put me in touch with him. Was like, "Hey, he's looking for writers." I was like, "I'm not a writer. I run all my stuff off of note cards. What are you talking about?" And I got with him, and he took the time to coach me and say, "Okay, we start here. You're going to end up there, and that'll be great." And I've been writing ever since.
You talked about this change in the professional space, how publishers are making moves towards diversifying the community. Have you noticed the
Mhm.
same change at conventions, places like Gen Con, or even in the online space?
Yeah, definitely at conventions. Several of the larger conventions are being very intentional about welcoming marginalized people. And it's just not as much as like a cute Facebook banner or saying, "Oh, we love diversity, come and play with us." I mean, it's things like seeing people of color on the banner on the website, seeing an Asian woman throwing bones or a black guy playing Pokemon. I mean, we see those things and it matters. And there's little small things that I think some of the larger conventions have started doing that I really like. Your badges actually have your pronouns on it. Like, that's amazing for me. That's very helpful because as I'm looking across the table, I can look at your pronouns and verify that I'm actually calling you the pronouns that you want to be called by. Why? Because it's in my face. And why is it in my face? Because the conventions are being intentional about letting you know this person identifies this way. We're showing them that respect by giving them the opportunity to display it. You need to show it too.
How do you think that the move to online and after COVID and this sort of change in the way that we're communicating and a lot of us are playing TTRPGs has shifted that kind of cultural conversation?
So the world ended. I'm sure everyone who's watching this is kind of aware that the world ended like February, March of 2020. And there was a massive shift of online gaming. I mean, you guys are watching this probably because you're online gaming and you're online. How has that shifted? Yeah, because just thinking, I want to say that it parallels what we're seeing in real life too, which would make sense because we're real people and we just all got locked in our houses for a year and a half. So we're taking those attitudes and those perspectives online with us. So I've seen the same thing when it comes to virtual marketing, virtual games, and things of that nature. The best I can say is I feel like it's paralleling alongside. Now I will say when you're dealing with well, that's a whole story. I will say when you're dealing with online virtual games, sometimes you don't see each other. Like if we're on Discord, it might just be audio. And I've seen some people make some really funny assumptions about who's on the other side of the screen in audio. But those can be really good coaching moments. Can I share a random story with you about that?
Yes, please, please.
So, okay. So I'm running the game that actually was published in Bayat al Azif with some people on Discord because I usually don't do my hair like it's not done now. I don't have the camera on. And something happened and I made the statement, character asked a question like, "How long has that been there?" I was like, "Oh, it's been there for a minute." And the character paused and was like, or the player paused. So it was like 60 seconds a minute or like longer. I was like, "I'm sorry, black vernacular. It's been there for a minute. It's like a long period of time. It's probably been there for a few weeks." Another hard pause. "Wait, you're black?" "Yeah. Yep, I'm black." Follow-up question. "Like Canadian black?" "What?" 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 Things that wouldn't have happened if you saw me in person or I had the video on. But where did your mind go Canadian black? So apparently, hey, all the black Canadian gamers in Canada, just thanks so much for, I guess setting a standard on black gaming. I don't know. It was weird. I laugh about it now. I wasn't entirely offended then. I'm not offended now. It's more of a funny story that I'm just like Canadian black. But I will say, when you can't see somebody, don't make assumptions, babe. Don't do that.